r/AskReddit. What should everyone try at least once in their life? Serious. Look someone dead in the eyes and say exactly what you think about them. See how it turns out. Go somewhere with no light pollution on a clear night and look at the stars. Edit. Thanks for the comments and edits. I'm glad so many people have experienced this. One of my favorite things to do while I was in the Navy was go out on deck while we were in the middle of the ocean at night and look at the stars. Lean on the rail, listen to the waves against the side of the ship, and look at the stars. Very peaceful. Edit. Didn't expect this to blow up like it did. And thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Surfaced in the middle of the night. Go up to the con to smoke a cigar with the hood and relax after a stress-filled initial sea trial. As I light up, I see bioluminescent plankton surrounding us and our wake. A vibrant green glow. I almost re-enlisted that day. Exploring different places around your neighborhood on your own. You never realize what you can find until you try. Then bring someone along with you next time and show them. I did this once as a teen. Just took my dog out for a walk to a part of the neighborhood I didn't usually go to. We found a little path behind the last street, which led to a cute creek, which led to an idyllic bend, where there was a beautiful huge cottonwood tree and the grass so soft all around it. Ended up taking the dog there for picnics every weekend. Go do a discovery flight and log the time. General aviation pilot here. You probably have 2 to 3 flight schools within 30 miles of your house. They will have something called a discovery flight. You sit left seat where the pilot in command normally sits, and it's usually somewhere around $70 for a 45-minute flight. The instructor will handle the takeoff and landing, and when you get up there, he will give you some headings to fly, maybe an altitude or 2 to hit, and then take you back to the airport. You get an incredible view of your area, you get to fly a plane, and if you buy a pilot logbook, $10 on Amazon, or at the flight school, you can have the instructor sign it and have actual time logged while flying a plane, which you can then use towards your license if you ever pursue it. Even if you have zero desire to actually become a pilot, it's an awesome experience. Gift certificates for discovery flights are my go-to for Christmas/birthday presents for people that I really like but don't know what to buy. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for my first, second, and third plat. For those commenting on the price, your mileage may vary when it comes to that, but in general, discovery flights are operated at a loss. For example, at my flight school, C170 to time is $130 wet, fuel included, per hour, and instruction is like $55/HR, so $185/HR to fly. But discovery flights are less than half that. Taking a bit of a loss on the discovery allows them to possibly hook a student pilot who may burn $7K 11K in a 6-month period to become a pilot, so it's usually worth it for them. Some places may be more, but if you're in an area where they are very expensive, there's also likely multiple options, and one probably far less than the rest. You likely have some places with a few Cirrus and a Piper, and another place with a Cessna 172 and a 152 or something. Kinda an umbrella, but learn a post-apocalypse skill. That's what I call them in my head. Mine was blacksmithing. I took a blacksmithing course over the summer and learned a staggering amount about what it takes to take raw materials and turn them into useful tools. I have a background in geology, and metallurgy has always interested me, so it made sense. Seriously, find something low or no tech that makes you feel accomplished. Woodworking, smithing, animal husbandry, archery, soap making, beekeeping. Hell, grow some corn. Something to remind you where we've been as a species. Learn a foreign language. It improves the way you think in your own native language and makes you a more dynamic person. I'm a linguistic pattern analyst, certified fluent in 5, and I can say this is legitimately some of the best advice. You will learn so much about a culture from their colloquial dialects and national languages. In prison I knew a white supremacist, big skinhead guy named Kenny. For fun I taught him Spanish, a little each day. We did that every day for about a year together, and by the end of it, he could converse with the Mexican nationals and he began to empathize with them. Caused him to see things differently, to recognize them as human beings, just through being able to actually communicate with them. It's surprising how much people have to say once they truly can communicate. Language is such a beautiful thing, rife with its own rich history, culture, and flair. I don't know who I would be if I had never found my love for language. Go watch a movie in a theater by yourself. When you have people with you, even if you both are perfectly quiet and never talk to each other once, there is still a sort of unspoken social obligation between you. Going by yourself is strangely liberating and really aids in enjoyment of the film and experience, in my opinion. Edit. For the record, I'm not bashing going with friends. I love doing that too. I think you can get enjoyment out of either experience. It just boils down to what you as a person want from an evening at the movies. Americans should drive cross country. If you live in a city on the East Coast and haven't traveled by car across the West, you have no idea how beautiful and vast this country is. The East is so congested. Driving across South Dakota from Sioux Falls to Deadwood was the most surreal thing ever to me. And driving through Iowa, man. I lived in a metro area of Connecticut. Traveling through Iowa, holy cow, I didn't know there could be that much land and corn. In Connecticut, if there's a piece of land, they cut down the trees and build condos or a shopping plaza. Edit. I meant Sioux Falls, not Rapid City. Solo travel for a few weeks or more. I used to be the type person that would be very dependent on having other people travel with me. Solo traveling, on the other hand, truly is a liberating feeling. You learn many things about yourself and mature. Edit. Whoa, this got some attention. Thanks everyone for the feedback. Keep growing and exploring. Much love. Spending extended time with people fundamentally different from you. Does school count for that one? Only if you make an effort to actually get to know your classmates. Being in the same room isn't enough. Learn a musical instrument. Not only is it a useful way to spend your free time, but with a little time and effort, you can easily get good enough to play your favorite songs and create your own tunes as well. I've been playing guitar for 11 years now, and I also picked up the bass about 5 years ago, and it's one of the best feelings in the world when you are able to entertain other people through music. Any instrument will be difficult at first to learn, but by remaining patient, you can easily get to the point where playing an instrument becomes almost a therapeutic experience. And you don't have to bust the bank and purchase the most expensive models just to sound good. A good player can make even a worn out, broken instrument sound like heaven. Complimenting yourself. So many of us are so focused on the things we deem negative about ourselves, when everyone has something good about them. I've always found it interesting that treat others how you'd want to be treated is generally accepted practice, but treat yourself how you'd want to be treated is completely foreign to a lot of people. It's actually on my bucket list. I would like to be in the grocery store when the person in front of me is struggling to pay for their food, and I would like to have enough money to just anonymously pay for their groceries and not have them know who I am, but to just ease a little pain in this world, allowing them to go home that evening with a full carload of groceries for their family without having to worry about the money. I've always wanted to do that, but I don't ever have the resources. How would you do it anonymously? If you're behind them in line, they'd know it's you paying. I would say to conquer a major fear in your life. I grew up with major social anxiety, and because of that, I was horrible at talking to people, which cycled back into said anxiety. It sucked, to say the least, to feel horribly alone and disconnected, yet being terrified of putting myself out to anyone but the closest of close friends. Then, I made a decision that changed my life forever. I founded my high school's robotics team. As nerdy as that sounds, it truly made me break my social anxiety and even made me realize that I was an extrovert. I was pushed by so many supportive mentor figures and friends in my life to break out of my social turtle shell. Because I was one of the founders and the elected president, I was required to talk to parents, teachers, sponsors, and many other people. I ran booths at STEM fairs and talked to huge crowds of people and ended up on the local news several times. This shattered my social anxiety. After that much public speaking and personal interaction, I overcame that fear, and I grew so much because of it. Heck, I realized I was an extrovert. Me, a shut-in dorky nerdy loner for 10 years. So I would recommend facing a major source of fear in your life. You don't even need to fully conquer that fear, just do something that your fear would otherwise prevent. Afraid of heights? Try a skywalk or skydiving at least once. Afraid of public speech? Try giving a public talk at least once. I'm not saying that every fear can be overcome. It's mentally exhausting to fight fear, and sometimes it's not a war you can win. My case involved 4 years of fighting to overcome that social anxiety, and I still do have some anxiety. Overcoming a fear will not be as easy as doing something once. But if you can win just one battle, then you can celebrate that one victory.